In this video, we're going to take a look at a new client, how to enter those. Click on this button here called New Client. And I want to point out on the screen the things that have to be there. Last name, obviously. First name. We do not take Social Security numbers. Put nothing in this field. Their address and the zip code. Zip code is a drop-down box, or you can type in the zip code itself, whichever you care to. You can see we have every city in Lenawee County and a few others in Ohio, etc. that we service. The next field that has to be in is the sex, right here. It's also drop-down, or you can type in M or F, whichever you want. Relationship. We're looking at relationship, and you'll notice there's a drop-down box here. There's lots of choices. There's self, which is the client themselves. If they're a spouse, which we'll use on the next page, which is called household. Grandchild, niece, nephew, parent, grandparent, friend. Go down more, we got fiance, brother, sister, cousin, aunt, and uncle. The next field is marital status, whether they're married or not. They live together, divorced, single, widowed, separated, or other. The next one we have to have is birth. You see it's all in red here. And then the phone number. That's all we want on this screen. I am going to put a fictitious one in to show you how this works out. I'm going to go back here to the last name. And I'm going to type in Parish. I always put the caps lock on, which makes it easier to read on the screen. You don't have to, but that's what I do. Parish. And if you just hit the Enter key twice, you go right down to the first name. His first name is George. Hit the Enter key twice, you go right down to mailing address. 123 any street. And we'll make this person an Adrian. So we can just use the up and down arrow and pick Adrian and hit the Enter key. We skip that field, so we just enter again. Here you select male or female. So I'm going to put M for male and hit the return key again. Self. He is single. Date of birth. Here, if it's anywhere from about 1930 on, all you have to do on the date is you put the month. I'm going to make it 1/1 because I want to show you something. 1/1. And let's say he was born in 1935. So hit 35. Hit the Enter key. Automatically calculates the age, and you notice this is in yellow. Any date you put in that has a 1/1 will be highlighted in yellow. The system does that because that may not be the correct date. We may have to guess at the date because the client didn't know a birth date of somebody. Okay, usually this happens in the household itself, the children, etc., not the client. But if you see that 1/1, even in the client asks, because we may have inputted it later on because someone didn't enter our birth date. Hit the return key again, go down to phone, and if they have a phone, type it in. If they don't, just skip it. I'll leave it skipped right now. Next thing we'll go over here is the other client data. And when we're doing home visits, we do a few. If this is the home visit, you would click this box right there. I'm going to leave that clicked. Next one we go to is household. Under household, here's where you can enter in the people that live in the household. Let's say George has 2 people living with him in the household. They're his son and daughter-in-law. Okay? But their last names are all Parish. So if the last names are all the same, an easy way to do this is you take and highlight Parish, and you can do a cut and paste. Now I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, which makes it a lot easier for you if you want to use this. You can use the mouse, go over there and right-click, go pick copy if you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Control-C to copy. Then I'll hit the Enter key again, and we're right down here under last name. I'm going to use a Control V, which is the one right next to C, which is a paste. You can use a mouse if you want to. Paste. This makes it real simple. And this is George Jr. Jr. No Social Security numbers now. Sex. Now you hit the Enter key through here. Sex is male. Okay. Enter. No rate. We don't use races, so just leave that alone. And this person is what relationship to the client? It's a child to the client, even though it might be an adult. Still a child to the client. So I'm just going to hit a C, and it goes right down to child. Hit the Enter key. Birth date. We need a birth date in there. So I'm going to say his is 12/31 19. Let's say 50. That would make him 61 years old. So he's really an adult, actually a senior, but still a child to the client. Hit Enter again, and we just go right here and hit a Control V again. And let's say this is Mary. Female, hit an F. Enter, Enter. Now, this is going to be a child relationship to the client again, even though it's not his child, it's still a child relationship because they're living with him. And the date here, let's say she was born on 10/11/55. Let me see, it automatically calculates the dates. Now, one thing I'm going to point out to you is right now we have two seniors shown in here. We actually have 3 people in the household, and a total of 2 because the last one we put in, we haven't hit the return key yet on it. Hit the return key. Now we have a total of 3 in the household, and we have 3 seniors. I'll show you what happens if you put a child in, a young child. Let's say George and Junior and Mary have a child. And this child is like 16 years old. Okay. The last name is still Parrish, so I'll hit a Control V. Let's say this child is Charles. It's a male. Now this is a grandchild. I'll go down to grandchild. And let's see. Birth date here is going to be 12/1. I'll make him a teenager. So let's see. Let's say 1997. So hit 97. Hit a return. It's a teenager. Hit the return again. Return one more time. And you notice we have now 4 in the household. 1 child, range 0 through 17. 1 adult. No adults. And seniors, we have 3 for a total of 4 in the household. So this is where you get your information for the little sheet you fill out for the pantry, the client number, the client name, and how many in the household. So it would be 1 teenager and 3 adults. Seniors are adults for the pantry. Next we go under income and expenses. And this is where we would enter the income of the family, not just the client. So let's say George Jr. is working and making an income of $1,000 a month. So you put 1,000 in here. Now this is important on this screen. Don't use the mouse. Use either the arrow keys or the Enter key because it screws up the numbers for some reason. That's Microsoft Access. He has no spouse, they're not receiving anything, but let's say they're receiving food stamps of $200, say 200 there. And George is receiving Social Security. Let's say he makes $1,500 a month. Okay, that's all. If they had like a pension coming in, let's say George also had a pension coming in. And there's no place in here for pension. So what you do is you go down to other amount. Let's say you receive $300 as a pension. You go to other description, you say pension. Just to keep track. You're done in here, you can just leave this screen and it'll automatically calculate all these things and put the total down here. Or you can just hit update totals and it'll do it too. For $3,000 is what they're making in this family. Next screen I'm going to talk about is financial assistance, which is this tab here. Here is where we would put in whether we're providing help with utilities. Let's say George came in with a water bill. He needed help. The water bill's for $100. Well, the max we do now is $75. So what we do is we go under here. Don't put a date in. Just leave this blank. The system will take care of that as of today's date. Okay, we click on here and we go down to water. So we do pay, or help pay gas, electric, and water. So click on that and just click on with a mouse, water, and in this field here, put 100. Oh, 1,000. Messed up. Okay, we'll go back here. Highlight that up. 100. Here, we're going to pay 75, so enter 75, hit the return. That's all you do. After you're done with this, you would either email or call the treasurer, who currently is Sonia, and give her the information off the utility bill. Non-financial assistance. This is where we track what food we provide. In this screen, all you have to do is click on here, click on food, and you're done. Go to the next screen, which is client notes. And here you would put in author as your initials. Mine are CS, Charles Stewart. Hit the return and write a note in here. G with utility payment for water. So, as so. And just hit the return. You notice that went away, the note. It's still in the system, don't worry about it. I just hit the return key. I'll close that form, and we're done with that client. And that's how you enter a new client in the system.